When you first learn English, you usually just start with your basic sentence. You start with who it is and what they do. Let me give you an example of that. Here's a simple sentence. We sipped lemonade. Um, it says who, we did it. It says what you did, sipped, that's like drink a little bit at a time. And it finishes out the sentence with the lemonade. Now, when you've already mastered simple sentences in English, it's time to start varying your sentences. That means make them different. Sometimes you might want to add more to your sentence. We're going to practice that with adding two parts, when phrases and where phrases. Phrases mean a couple words put together. So I'm going to start with our simple sentence, we sipped lemonade. When did we do it? Well, we did it yesterday. So yesterday, we sipped lemonade. Where did we do it? Well, we sipped it on our back porch. That sentence tells us a couple parts. Now, we could switch around some of these parts and it would still make sense. Let me put it here at the top for you. I could say, we sipped lemonade yesterday, or we sipped lemonade on our back porch yesterday, or we sipped we sipped lemonade on our back porch as well. So there are a couple different ways you could do it, but again, usually, or many times I should say, the when phrase can go first, the where phrase can go last. You still have to have the person and what they're doing in the middle. Let's try a different one here. I have this picture off to the side. It looks like there's a bench there, so I'm going to think about my basic sentence. My grandma, what'd she do? Sat on, actually, I'm just going to say sat down. My grandma sat down. That could be a sentence. Who was it? My grandma. What did she do? Well, she sat down. Now I'm going to add a little bit more to it. When did she do that? I'm going to say this morning. This morning. Where did she do it? Well, that looks like it's on the bench, so I'm going to add that. On the bench. That's my where phrase. Let me get it a little bit smaller. So again, we could talk about it in a couple different ways. My grandma sat down this morning. This morning, my grandma sat down. My grandma sat down on the bench. My grandma sat down on the bench this morning. I could put it over here. I could put it at the beginning. Again, there are a couple different ways that you can order your sentence, but you always have the subject, who it is, and what they do. That would go together. Let me try this middle picture here. I'm going to call that person the athlete. An athlete is a person who does different sports or does a sport. So the athlete jumps. That's my sentence. Who is it? Well, I'm talking about the athlete. What does he do? Well, jumps. That's a sentence. Now I'm going to think about when. When does that happen? I'm going to say on Friday. So on Friday, the athlete jumps where? Over the obstacle. An obstacle is something you try to get over or around. So I'm going to say over the obstacle. And let me just make this a bit smaller for us. So again, try it a couple ways. The athlete jumps over the obstacle on Friday. The athlete jumps over the obstacle on Friday. The athlete jumps. Again, a couple different ways that you could do it, depending on if you want to tell when, if you want to tell where, and what you want to have first. The important part is that you have your sentences in different ways. That's called varying your sentences. It makes it more interesting. I'm going to move a couple of these pictures down, and I have one final picture for us to take a look at. This one right here. I'm going to move this down. Actually, I'm going to move it on top over here. So if I want to talk about that one, I could say, the pig peeks out. That's a sentence. Who is it? Or what is it? The pig. What's the pig doing? Oh, the pig's peeking out. When? In the afternoon. That could be a time. When does it do it? In the afternoon. Where does it do it? Peeks out of the barn. Or the shed, maybe. Or its crate. I'm going to just say barn. Again, there are a couple different ways you could say it. The pig peeks out of the barn in the afternoon. In the afternoon, the pig peeks out. The pig peeks out of the barn. That would make a sentence as well. Now, here's one final note. The way that I have it on the screen right now, if you put all the parts together, I have some errors. So you would need to go back and check for a capital to start your sentence, a lowercase letter in the middle, and a period at the end. So if I'm using all of these parts, yesterday we sipped lemonade on our back porch, that would go together like that. But I would need to make sure that I have all those parts in the right spots with capitals at the beginning and periods at the end. You may pause this video now and see if you can fix my other sentences. When you're ready, you may unpause it and check. Hopefully you are able to do that. Let me just fix a couple more pieces. So here's my sentence this morning. My grandma sat down on the bench. Here's another one. On Friday, the athlete jumps over the obstacle. Here's the last one. In the afternoon, the pig peeks out of the barn. Just move that together. And I'm just double checking my work. There we go. That's how you add where or when phrases to your sentences to make them more interesting.